Good morning, guys. My name is Shiven Asthana. I am a second year law student from WIPS, IP Delhi, and an intern at LEXIS and Company. So, today I'll be speaking on the topic of feminism. I know this topic is very sensitive, but I'd like to quote my views and my opinions on this topic. And I would personally request you all to get not offended against my statements as it's my own point of view. So, let's get started. So, what is the meaning of feminism? Feminism is basically a range of social movement, political movements, and ideologies that aim to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes, be it male, female, or the third, or any other. So, to be a feminist is simply to believe that everybody should be treated equally, regardless of sex, be it male or female. It means that there should be equality of the sexes economically, socially, politically, and personally. When you put it like that, it's surely difficult for anybody to deny being a feminist. But for such a simple concept, it is often dramatically misunderstood. So let's now go into the history of feminism. Feminism as a theory of law, as a concept, feminism is very much a modern notion within legal circles, which aims to eradicate any prejudice against women's rights. This in a society strongly founded upon a male oriented legal system, which historically fails to recognize the social and legal rights of women and instead focuses upon male oriented theories and ideologies. It is the patriarchy that the feminists strive to eliminate. The sense of patriarchy is emphasized by Marxist legal theory developed by Karl Marx, Frederick Engels in the 19th century, which places no emphasis on gender and consequently belittles the feminist fight for gender equality. The key to this goal is a socialist revolution that creates a state-centered economy operating to meet the needs of all. Such a basic transformation of society requires that women and men pursue their personal liberation together rather than individually as liberal feminists maintain. The object of Section 498A of IPC is to protect women from the cruelty caused by husband or his relatives and harassment by latter in relation to meet unlawful demands. It has been a controversial section due to its gross misuse by women, as they are using it for settling scores with their husbands and relatives. Women have always occupied a vital place in Indian society, though the position of women was not good in the ancient times since they were subjected to discriminatory laws, Brahmanical austerities, a rigid caste system. So the makers of the constitution have taken every possible step to uplift the position of women. The Constitution of India ensures the equality of status and opportunity and prohibits unreasonable discrimination. There are other specific legislations that also for protection of the women, but laws that were once made for their protection now being misused as weapon to satisfy their personal vendettas or harassing others. My article is centered on misuse of laws and gender specific laws in India causing violation of fundamental and human rights both. So how do women misuse the so-called word feminism in the current society? So in 2015, I'm not talking about all women. I'm just being specific to the women who misuse the word feminism in order to just uplift their own ego and everything like that. So in 2015, the acquittal rate was 14%, which means that acquittal rate for 14% for domestic abuse. That means either 86% of the cases were false or withdrawn. For instance, there are reserved seats for women in buses. There are separate ticket counters for ladies. Some trains have women-only coach like Delhi Metro and so on. I'm not against the women only coach, as it's just for the safety of the women, and the harassment rate in India is very high. So yeah, that's okay. But there are a few other things like the misuse of Section 498A, which is against the domestic harassment. So yes, discrimination or sexist against men and boys are existing as well. Sexism against women or girls is still a more severe problem in most part of the world. I agree to that. However, contrary to the popular belief, men and boys can also be subject to discrimination. Men are also victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, but state, institution, and society in general take such violation less seriously because of the prevailing attitude towards men, as they treat all the men as bad. Which means a man or a boy can be arrested if a girl files a case of rape against him without even investigating the matter of truth. I don't say every case is being filed is false, but out of 10 cases are false. Are the two false cases are the false cases the example of misuse of law, and misuse of this is the misuse of the sections. So I'll quote an instance. You guys might have heard about the boys' locker room instance, which was trending last year in the month of May and June. There were few acquaintances of mine who were allegedly accused as they were in the group which existed. I don't defend them, neither I protect them. But the hate and criticism they got was next level. On the other hand, they had they were not even involved in the group, but they were just in the group, so they had to face the consequences. The hate and the criticism was on to the next level. On the other hand, the screenshot of the so-called victim was also out in the open, in which she proved that she was one step ahead of the boys claimed, but no action were taken by the authorities against her as she was a girl. So I'd like to conclude by saying that this was just an instance. Don't let the word of feminism just get misused and anything like that. So I'd like to conclude by saying that according to me, feminism is good till an extent, and to empower women, you don't have to degrade the good men in totality. The ones involved in unjust practices should be targeted solely, but not men in collectiveness. Thank you.